Welcome back to another episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. In today's episode, we're going to be simply talking about the benefits of getting your body moving. Now, what I mean by that, it does not mean to be a gym rat. It does not mean to be working out religiously. No, it doesn't mean anything like that. It just means to get your body moving. There's plenty of days here where I don't feel like working out, and that's A-okay. So on those days, I'll maybe go for a walk. Maybe I'll do some yoga. Maybe I'll just play some basketball or take my son to the park and just run around with him on the playground. Something to get your body moving. And we're going to be talking all about the benefits. Obviously, yes, right? It's neat. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or if you're working out, right, then guess what? That's your form of activity. So you're burning calories, regardless of which option that you're doing, whether it's a workout in the gym or you're just going for a walk or playing with your kid, at the playground. You're burning calories. So there's a lot of benefits with that, but I don't want to talk about those benefits, the health benefits. I don't care about that. And neither should you too, right? What you should be more focused on is the mental benefits. There is so much mental aid when it comes to the therapeutics of just working out or walking or any type of movements. So I'll put it to you like this, all right? We coach a lot of guys, all different types of occupations, right, that apply for our coaching program at Heartletics. A lot of guys are truck drivers. A lot of guys are engineers. A lot of guys are IT guys or, marketing managers or, inside sales reps where they're sitting down. Their lifestyle is very sedentary, and maybe that's like you also, where you're very sedentary. So typically what happens is, you go to work 8, 9, 10 hours, right? You come home and you're dead tired. You're probably thinking to yourself, like, how is that even possible? I didn't do anything besides sit in front of a computer all day. Or I didn't do anything except for drive all day because I'm a truck driver, or maybe an Uber driver or a cab driver, something along those lines. Where you may know your routine, you may have it all down, but since your body's not moving, it's mentally taking a big drain on you. And that's obviously what you don't want. Right? Because what's the point of going to work all day? You come home, you're dead tired, you can barely play with your kids, you have no energy, and you just eat dinner, watch a movie on Netflix, and go to sleep. That's it. And then it's just Groundhog's Day, day in and day out, and then you just live for the weekends, right? And these weekends, you have these memories with your family or memories of doing something that you want, but then Monday rolls around and it's the same old, right? Let's break that curse. And the easiest way to break that curse is just by moving more. So what I want to do in today's episode, I give you guys some practical tips. This is honestly what we focus on when it comes to any clients, truck drivers, IT managers, or even construction workers, right? It's giving them habits to just getting them moving. But before we talk about those specific habits, let's talk a little bit more about why it's important. So I mentioned about it being very therapeutical, right? It's a great mental aid to just breaking up just the stir crazy of sitting down constantly, right? Which is what you need. But here's the thing. Your body does need movement. It really does. There's ankle pain, elbow pain, knee pain, stuff like that. But specifically back pain isn't really any issues with your back. It's mainly because you're so sedentary that you're just kind of sitting down all day long. And guess what? You start to form these knots, right, in your glutes, in your butt. And that is what's pulling, right, on your lower lumbar. That's what's pulling on the muscles on your lower back. And that is where you're feeling the pain at. It's just like if, let's say, you have a knee injury, odds are it might not be your knee. It might be either like your IT band or your hip flexor, or might be your ankle, Don't ever think that just because where the pain is at, that's the root of the cause. It's just that's where you're feeling it at the most. So and the reason why I'm saying that is because it's very important. It's a good tip, right? If you're somebody that struggles with having a bad back, having something that requires you to get up and move is going to aid in maybe you not having such horrible back pain. It's that simple. If you think way back in the day, right, prehistoric times, right, where we had hunt for food, everything like that, nobody just sat around. everybody was moving around. Now we have the world at our fingertips, right? We have our computers, our phones, a car that we can get in and sit down and drive somewhere. And guess what? You can even drive somewhere and go get food where you don't have to cook. You just go to pull up to a fast food joint and boom. And guess what? You can even eat that food while you're still driving, right? And so if you think about it, why is it that over 42% of the US is considered obese? Well, yes, there's a lot of truth to us eating unhealthy. There's a lot of truth to big farm companies and whatnot, and name brand companies out there that's constantly feeding us higher calorie like junk, right? That our body can't even process. Sure, but it's because of the lack of ability to just be mobile, to move. That's what it boils down to. And so when it comes down to coaching guys, let's say construction workers, truck drivers, IT guys, anything like that, what we always focus on with everybody, it's one of our 7 essential fat loss habits for success, which if you guys have not yet downloaded the free guide, go check that out at heartletics.com. Or while you're there also, you can actually check out a free training video that goes over in-depth details about these 7 essential fat loss habits and how to apply it. And one of the habits is simply called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So I want you to look specifically into your own lifestyle, because I don't know you. Who's ever listening to this right now, I don't know you, right? Unless obviously you apply for a coaching call with me and you want to talk, personally more about your lifestyle, more about your goals, and see if maybe Heartletics and coaching is a good fit for you. If you want, go visit heartletics.com and you guys can apply. But regardless, I want you to just slowly, week over week, start just maybe use your phone, right? Like the notes, right? A to-do section in your notes or anything like that. Start giving yourself a goal, okay? Now, I'm not wearing this right now, but I have it right here. It just needs to be charged. This is a knockoff Fitbit, okay? I got this on Amazon. I think it's actually Amazon's brand. It is $15, $20 max. There's other ones that are a lot more expensive, a lot more expensive and a lot less expensive, right? You can find a whole different variety of stuff. Just go to Amazon, type in fitness tracker. This little thing will change how you look and change how you feel. Why? Well, NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, okay? And if you're very sedentary, you're lacking energy, you feel like, hey, 2 p.m., whatever, right? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever the case may be, right? Even 1 o'clock, you're dead tired. You need that energy drink or that cup of coffee. Odds are what you need to do is just start going for more walks, okay? So what I want you to do with the notes section in your phone, and what I want you to do with buying just a cheap knockoff brand for a Fitbit, whatever, is just start moving more. That's it. Just start moving more. Give yourself some goals. Have everything mapped out. Say, hey, for this week, I'm going to walk, let's say, I don't know, maybe you're literally doing next to nothing now. So maybe 2,000 steps, 3,000 steps. Awesome. No problem with that. Start off the next week and give yourself a small goal. If you're getting 3,000, make the next week 4,000. And keep on doing that, right? Until it becomes a habit. Until it becomes so easy, so effortless, boom. Let's increase the following week to 5,000 and do the same thing. Do that until you get 10,000 steps in a day, no ifs, ands, or buts. Coach Mark is a great example, myself included, right? We're constantly walking, okay? I want you to think, right? What are some easy, practical ways to get in more steps? Because you don't need to go for a 10,000 step walk right there in right that duration of time. Like, no, but every little bit helps. So let's just say you're sedentary, right? Sitting behind a computer screen all day long, which that's what I do, right? I'm here in front of my office all day long, sitting in front of my computer at my desk. Sedentary. So I make sure that first thing in the morning, I'm getting up and I'm moving, okay? I have a whole morning routine where I go in the mindset, but I also work out in the mornings, right? That's part of my thing. And on the weekends when I don't work out, I'm either going to go for a walk in the morning or something like that just to get more movement in first thing. The little things really do add up here, people. That's what we're trying to get at. Now, for me personally, I love going for walks also in the afternoon, especially if I'm sitting here all day long working on meal plans, training programs, replying back to clients. doing transformation application videos, coaching calls, stuff like that, it gets very tiring. It gets very hard, right? Where I feel like, holy cow, like I just need a break, right? This is where in the afternoons, I'll just get up and go for a walk. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, anything like that. And then in the evening times, I'm always encouraging my son to go at walks with me, or for us to go outside and play soccer or basketball, anything. It's doing two things. One, it's helping me get more adequate movement in, which is what I want, right? Remember, the little things add up. Nobody says you have to go for a 10,000 step walk right there in that one duration. Like, no, break it up. Get a little bit here, get a little bit there, make things easier for yourself, you know? But also the second thing is I'm being present. And I'm understanding that my son is very young, 3 years old. These times are not going to last. He loves to wrestle. He loves to play with me. We love watching movies, playing video games, right? All these things, right? These times are not going to last. There's going to be times here where, you know, he's going to be 12, 13 years old, and he doesn't want to hang out with his daddy. He wants to hang out with his friends, and that's okay, right? But I'm making sure that for right now, I'm taking a present inside look to making sure that, hey, I'm doing all the right things now to be present, to remember this, because at the end of the day, this all boils down to everything, which I always talk about. You have one life here on earth. You can always go buy a new car. You can always go buy a new phone, buy a new computer, buy a new house. You can't buy a new body. You can't buy a new mind, right? And so I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things to take care of myself now, but also cherish that time with my family. We got one life here, people. That's it. I want to make sure I'm doing the right things by one, being present, being active. And now here's the thing, right? And this is what I really want to get into in this episode. It's a lot easier said than done. Let me repeat that. It's a lot easier said than done. There's plenty of days I don't feel like working out. There's plenty of days I don't feel like doing anything. There's plenty of days I don't feel like showing up. But you always need to ask yourself this. Two simple questions. One, what would the 2.0 version of myself do in this situation? Don't ask yourself that question during the easy times. Ask it during the hard times. The second thing is to simply ask yourself this. Successful people do what they have to do whether they feel like it or not. Are you going to sit down and be lazy, or are you going to show up? That's it. I always say that. Successful people do what they have to do whether they feel like it or not. Because we're talking playing video games with my son, right? We love doing that stuff. And so think about it like this. A video game character, they have these skill sets, right? Every time that you're saying no, right, to going for a walk, to working out, to eating healthy, to working on self-development and self-improvement, guess what? You're building up that skill set. Now, the problem is once you get it up to a certain point where you're constantly making up excuses, constantly saying no, constantly not showing up for yourself or your family, guess what? That skill set is very strong, okay? If let's say you see a bodybuilder in the gym and he's working out religiously, he can, odds are, not work out for, let's say, 6 months straight and still look really good. Okay, he could go completely AWOL on his diet, but thing is, he built up years of practice to building that body, that foundation. Okay, it's going to take a very long time for him to reverse and go back to his old ways before he was a bodybuilder. Think about that, like when it comes to your skill sets. When it comes to choosing the harder options or the quick, fix, like, hey, let's just, get this over with, go back to our old ways. So every time you decide to make up excuses for yourself, you're building up that skill set. And when it comes time, push comes to shove, right? Where you have to stand up and make a hard decision for yourself because you realize, hey, maybe I'm on blood pressure meds right now. Maybe I'm cholesterol meds. Maybe I have no energy to play because I got to do something, right? Like it just hit the fan. Like it's a reality check. Okay. During these times, it becomes a lot harder for you to decide to do the right thing simply because for years you have been building up on that skill set of making up excuses. So what you need to focus on is starting today, not tomorrow, not the next week, right? Today, and start just creating these better habits for yourself, right? And just start moving more. That's it. That's it. And when you start doing it, it becomes a habit. When you become consistent with it, right, it becomes a lifestyle change, plain and simple. And so start small, because there's going to be plenty of times where that bad wolf's going to be creeping in your head saying, hey, it's kind of cold outside. The bed feels pretty nice and warm today. Let's just sleep in. Let's not work on our mindset. Let's not show up to the gym. Let's not work out. There's going to be plenty of times where somebody wants to take your time, okay? And I get it, right? We always want to invest into other people. We always want to spend time, but really look into prioritizing yourself first and foremost. You know, if let's say my son wants to spend time with me, I'm going to give some, like, hey, okay, awesome. Let's spend some time, but why don't we do X, Y, and Z instead of sitting around and watching movies or sitting around and watching TV show, right? Let's go be active. And these are the little things that you need to start adapting. You need to start doing. It's the little things, right, that add up to the big changes that occur in somebody's life. It's not the, I have this picture of this avalanche or iceberg, I should say. And it says at the top success. But what's underneath the surface, underneath the water, right, is like hard work, persistence, late nights, rejection, sacrifice, discipline, criticism, doubts, failure, risk. All these different things that nobody else sees. They just see the success. You need to start looking at your life like that as well. Okay? That like this body that you want, this mindset that you want, this life that you want, there's going to require some sacrifice. There's going to require some discipline. There's going to require some changes that needs to occur that's underneath the surface. But here's the thing. It's just like a video game. The more and more you start feeding the good wolf, the inner beast, the easier it gets. The easier it becomes a habit. I know so many guys that, let's say they eat a whole bunch of crap and they sign up for coaching and then they start eating the right foods that make them feel good, make them burn body fat, build muscle, have more energy, have more confidence. They don't want to go back to eating the fast food or the junk food because they realize here that they like how they felt before, right? With having good, clean foods in their system. They like how they feel rather than before that time when they felt lazy, when they felt lethargic, when they felt just unmotivated, I always say like this, food equals fuel. In order to get a car from point A to point B, it needs gas. Your body needs food. Your body needs nutrients, right? But here's the thing. Don't think that nutrients is just going to help you burn body fat, build muscle. Obviously it will, but here's the thing. That nutrients, that's for your brain. That's for your mindset. When you start taking full control over eating cleaner, healthier options for you that aid you in feeling good, looking good, guess what? That's going to shift your mindset as well. And that's what you need. If you continue to eat garbage and processed crap and junk food, like think about that. That's also going to your mindset. That's also going to your mind as well, not just your body. And that's why some of the people that maybe maybe they're your family members, maybe they're your coworkers, maybe they're your friends, they just don't care anymore. They're at this point where they don't want to try anymore because they've been so used to feeding that bad wolf where in their heads, they think it's going to be completely different, completely hard, right? Completely outside of their comfort zone to make a change. And it will be a change. That is for sure, right? I'm never going to lie to somebody. But here's the thing. When you start walking instead of running immediately, it becomes a lot easier to be consistent with it. And that's what we always focus on is walking before we run, is showing up each and every day, focusing on being just 1% better. That's it. That's all that matters. So how do we wrap up this episode? I'll put it to you like this. When you start moving more and taking care of your body, your life is going to change. Okay? That's the reality of it. Now, the question is, do you want your life to change? How bad do you really want it? Like, do you say, oh man, like I wish I looked like this, but yet you don't want to work out. You don't want to eat healthy. You don't want to go for some walks. How bad do you really want it? All right. At the end of the day, it does not have to be hard at all. But the hardest decision, this is what Coach Jimmy talks about also, and how he lost over 120 pounds. The hardest thing for him to do was just decide to be selfish and take action and get started. He realized here that like he didn't know what to do. He struggled with everything under the sun, keto, fasting, paleo, South Beach diet, P90X, you name it. He tried it, but nothing seemed to work for him. It wasn't until he had a game plan and a roadmap, but most importantly, people in his corner sharing with him how easy it can be. And that's the moral of the story. How easy it can be for you to burn body fat as long as you just start taking care of your body and start moving a little bit more. That's it. Start moving more. Get one of those knockoff Fitbits. Start moving your body more. Start embracing how you look and how you feel so much differently now. And I promise you, you're going to become obsessed with the differences that occur in your life, and you're never going to want to go back to your old ways. All because you decided to move your body a little bit more than what you're doing today. That's it. And if you guys want more helpful tips and tricks, like I said, we have a free fat loss guide over at Heartletics.com. We have a free fat loss training video that goes over the 7 essential fat loss habits for success at Heartletics.com as well. And other than that, I just really hope that you guys got some value, you guys got some inspiration, and learn a little bit more about the importance of just moving your body. That's it, guys. With that being said, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com. And as always, I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.